Back in the 1950s, people who had a diploma on their hand were like holding a golden ticket to life with security. It didn't matter what type of diploma you were holding, every existing company would risk whatever it took to grab your balls and pull you into their company. Now, you need at least a master's degree to sit behind a computer to do the same shit every day. But it all comes down to how useful your major or course is to your future. Business. Everyone wants to be rich as hell to buy and do whatever they want if they have a ton of money in their bank account. Starting a business seems like one of the promising ways to make money other than day trading, like that one friend who won't shut up going from, wait, you see my Bitcoin? I earned 700 from it, wait. The fucking dip made me lost all my fucking money. If you don't want to end up like these insufferable people who only sleep 3 hours a day, then you will probably think taking business course is a good idea. I'll give you two different images. Do you know what they have in common? They both have a car. And do you know what separates them apart? One drives a BMW M4 that is bought with cash and he drives it to his company. The other one drives an asset he's still financing and he drives people to their companies. What's funny is that this motherfucker don't even have a business diploma. He went straight into the industry and bankrupted 3 of his companies and only made money from his 4th one. But the Grab driver is the one who has a degree in business. I'm not telling you to not take business as your major in order to start a business. What I'm trying to say here is that most businessmen or entrepreneurs don't even have a business diploma to have a successful business. I know the course offers business related subjects like financial management and drawing, but most of the time people who study business end up working jobs that grow their boss's business, which is ironic. Plus, business is one of the most saturated courses in Malaysia because most SPM graduates don't even know what course to take, but their parents just keep giving them pressure to study in the uni, so they just close their eyes and throw the dart blindfolded with the options of business, psychology, and computer science. So if you want to find success and really start your own business, you have to do your own homework instead of the assignment that was given by the professor who has no real life experience at all. History. What do you even study in this course? Independence of Malaya all over again, or how George Washington scrubbed his balls in the shower? You've already finished SPM with your barely got B in Sejarah and you want to do it all over again but with more details. At this point, you have just developed Stockholm Syndrome lah. Taking antidepressant and alcohol at the same time is much healthier than doing whatever you have chosen to do lah. Realistically, what occupation can you even take in the future with this course? A librarian? You took the most boring course to work in the most boring job ever to tell people to shut up. Journalist? That's one of the occupations no one likes because you might end up spreading misinformation like touching too much plastic will increase the chances of getting cancer by 109%. Secondary school teacher and history professor? This has to be the corniest way to utilize your degree. Going back to school. When I already hated school. A lawyer? Like digging up crime suspects search history to study the cause of crime? But you will still have to pass the bar exam, which means you have to go to law school and study the laws, which ultimately means you have to study law. History degree is just useless lah. You know what's worse than getting a history degree? Majoring in art. Fuck it. Studying history as your major is not as bad as stubbing your toe on a table. You're either rich or you have to be the most naive person in the room to choose art as your major. But they told me to chase my dream. Who's they? The same homeless man who's lying in the middle of the street with a few pennies in the empty bowl? I don't want to sound like any other old heads out there, but at least I will sound reasonable even though I'm giving similar advice. Be realistic. You think only making art is gonna make you money and support your life? Think again. Oh shit, you actually still do. Fuck no. You're not gonna be able to make money with your paintings or digital art alone if you have no connection. Plus, you don't even need a degree to learn art. I can go on YouTube and search how to draw a hand and actually draw a hand. So here's a tip for anyone who is actually interested in art. I really hate diminishing anyone's interest, but you have to choose a course or major that is high in demand other than art itself. You invest your free time into making arts and crafts. Not only will you have a plan B to fall upon, you might even make money off your art and your job at the same time. And maybe even ditch your job and become Picasso himself. Brother, even Picasso invested in real estate. That's how he got even richer. So if you're planning to major in art, please don't. Computer science. If you say you want to major in computer science 15 years ago, yeah, go ahead. It was a good decision. But if you say you want to study computer science today, you just sound like the other 23 people I've just asked lah. Computer science is just another oversaturated field for SPM graduates. You can look at that one guy in your classroom who has no interest or knows nothing about computers and will all of a sudden find computer science interesting. Not because he's actually interested in learning how to code, but it's because he found out that 60% of his friends are going into CS. And when these type of people actually go into CS, they will then find out CS isn't their cup of tea. Like, what the fuck do you expect? Of course you won't like it. You don't even know the full form of CS is computer science. You thought it was Counter-Strike cause it's also on the computer, while using the magic of Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V to copy and paste the code generated by ChatGPT. Last time a Grab driver told me to never pick CS cause he himself is a CS graduate. So if you really have the passion to do coding, then you have to study and work 10 times harder than the next guy. Especially when AI is slowly taking over computer jobs and people are investing more and more AI tools to do the coding. Otherwise, you're just gonna throw your PTPTN money down the Pacific Ocean just to not get a job. Philosophy. You have to be a boring overthinker who has no idea where to spend your money in. You're an overthinker. You have the time to think about the past and the future and the philosophy of life, but can't think of a useful major to pick. I didn't even know you could study philosophy in Malaysia until this day. What do you even study in the lectures? Why do we exist? Or read quotes from Nietzsche like, "One must still have chaos to give birth to a dancing star." What the fuck does that even mean to my single wrinkled brain? Instead of arguing whether reality is real, I have another mind-blowing question. What can you do with your philosophy degree in the future? Be a lawyer? Go into journalism? A fucking marketing manager? Yes, I get that the main focus in philosophy is critical thinking, but I genuinely don't think the meaning of life is related to Malaysian Law Act A1750 or financing and budgeting. If I ever go to a stalling competition and my opponent is a philosopher, I'm going to lose big time. Philosophy majors don't even know that they are stalling because they are too distracted by the cert they are going to hold in the future. So there are only 3 possible outcomes that I can think of. 1. You go on Reddit on Facebook to argue with people about the contradiction of existence. And 2. You become a teacher or a lecturer and try to get more people into studying philosophy. And 3. You end up behind a computer working in an office for a company that completely has no relation to philosophy. Engineering. Engineers are essential for every sector you could possibly imagine. The one thing that society actually constantly needs. You're not gonna be in the office typing horse come and fly SWAT in your computer. You're actually gonna build bridges, make machines, and maybe even design new contraptions no human has ever imagined. Cause you're a fucking engineer. From construction, to product manufacturing, to agriculture. Even music production needs an engineer. So there are lots of paths for you to choose from. If you are good in maths or one of the big 3 in science and don't want people to keep calling you a boring nerd, you can choose engineering as your major so that you will sound cooler with the title on your badge. But your hair is still receding and with the major that you have picked, yeah, you're definitely going bald in no time. You know, back then during wars, I don't care if it's World War I or World War II or even World of Warcraft, soldiers sacrifice themselves to get their brothers to the other side. Engineers are doing the same shit, except they are trading their time and sanity for a higher paycheck. They are living in literal trenches with no social life so that they can find a missing component that is tinier than Vatican City. I don't know if it's worth it to study engineering or not, cause I'm too much of a pussy to do so. Or because I'm a dumbass who just found out you cannot put fork and spoon into a microwave. But one thing for sure, when you manage to get out of the shithole with a cert, you will enter the Hall of Fame in your bloodline. You're gonna make big bucks. Shit, if you're a petroleum engineer, you're getting paid around 140,000 ringgit. And that's only the entry level. Above 200,000 ringgit will spawn in your bank account annually if you're promoted to a senior engineer. At that point, you're one of Petronas' most valuable assets. So is it worth it? It depends on how much you love money more than yourself. That's basically what I'm covering for now in this video. So in a nutshell, I don't like property agents.